And I find it very ironic that I am here because 51 years ago, I was on the same piece of land filming the new Marion Moore Library.
Wow.
51 years ago. And I did it with this camera.
Wow.
And it's amazing when you look back at time, and time has gone by very fast. As I've told, I think, all of you, I'm still young, 85, I'll be 86 in January, married my first girlfriend. Well, that's what I told her. 62 years. October will be 63.
Woo!
I will tell you this. We still can't get it right. I just want to say one or two little things about Paul Dowling. I was photo chief at Channel 12 Television, and I ran the department. I had 4 or 5 photographers under me. Paul was the best. Whenever there was an assignment that had to be done and done right, Paul would be the person that I would send. Paul is an exceptional photographer, cinematographer, and artist, and a graduate student of Rhode Island School of Design. And I might tell you this, that this is the first time in 20 years that I have seen Paul Dowling, with the exception of a couple of days ago when we came here to talk about this. He sent me a letter occasionally, and that's how we kept in touch with each other. Enough of that. There is a distinction between a cinematographer and a videographer, and I'd like to clarify that for you. A cinematographer, cinema, theater, film. We work with film. The fellows that go around with the electronic cameras are the videographers. There was no video when we started in broadcasting. And the other thing I'd like to clear up for you is that when I say we, in whatever I'm saying, I don't necessarily mean Paul Dowling and Ed DiMeglio. I'm talking about TV stations in New England or throughout the country, because we all went through the same thing. We all went the hard way. Television was upon us, and they didn't give us a handbook. So everything we did was on film. It all started off with silent film, 16 millimeter silent film. And with the use of silent film, there was processing. And there was no made chemicals for us. We became, we were working with a bunch of compounds, sulfuric acid, so many grams of this, so many ounces of that, and hopefully we could remember, do you put the sulfuric acid in first or do you put the water in first? You put the water in first or you put the sulfuric acid? Because if you did it the wrong way, it comes back up to greet you. It was a long process making the chemicals. And then we had to wait to try to get them at some room temperature, if that was possible. There was no machinery to process. We processed by hand. We had large pans about this big, maybe a half a dozen of them. One would have developed, another one would have this, another one would have a rinse, and so forth and so on. And it was scattered all around the dark room. No lights, absolute darkness. And we had a rack. The rack was about a little smaller than the pans. And in the dark, you would take the film out, and you would slide in the center of this rack, and you would get it to go completely around. And the most we could put on there was 100 feet of film, and that's how all the film was coming in anyhow, it was 100 feet. which only gave us about 2 minutes of filming. And that was, again, silent film. So we processed by hand, and in Paul's book, you probably saw some pictures of the gloves. The gloves we used, one, to protect your hand, but more, once the film got wet, it would start to bubble, and it would pop out of those little ridges, and you'd end up with a big plate of spaghetti. And you couldn't get it back in there anymore. So a lot of times the film got damaged. A lot of time we'd get scissors in the dark and cut it and try to get it back in there. After the film was processed, it had to be dried. There was no method of drying. So Bob Archer here, I guess, is a very handy guy at the station. He used to do props, and anything you needed, he could make it. Except money. Speaking of money, I want to tell you this. We got paid once a month. That hurt. But anyhow, Bob made a big cylinder out of wood, about the size of a 50-gallon oil drum. And they were just pieces of wood, and he attached the motor to it. And he put some kind of a clip on it, and he said, you take the film, put it on that clip, and turn this thing by hand, and get it all wrapped around, and then hit a switch. He attached the motor, and that thing would spin. Nobody in the newsroom could hear anything anymore because of that thing was rattling, and it dried the film. Sometimes we were lucky and we got it on the 6 o'clock news. If you recall, in those days, many a time you'd see it, or you'd hear a story, but you wouldn't see any film because we couldn't get it out on time. And so they coined the phrase, film at 11. So they would run the story without any video.